Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video right here on Bitcoin, but also a little bit on the markets, of course, because if you know what Bitcoin is going to do, you very often know what the market is going to do as well. But I hope you're having a great start of the weekend so far. So far, we've actually had a bit of activity this weekend. I mean, yesterday was quite bearish. I mean, luckily in the middle of the day market update I did yesterday, which I did when the price was, I think, right here, still at 116.2 thousand. But what I said is that I thought it was most likely that we would push down a little bit lower, and that I would, at least for the short term, would have a bearish bias. We pushed down a little bit lower. The end of the day, like if you look at the end of the US session, we had some very high volume selling candles. That was, well, not strange, but that was, I mean, there was kind of, you know, what's going on here. But ultimately, we have recovered so far relatively well. We found support at the 382 FIB, and also if you look at the higher time frames, it's a high liquidity zone for Bitcoin. So everything is fine. I mean, we have dropped down below the 7-day rolling VWAP, but I don't see any reason right now to be fearful about the direction of Bitcoin. We have lost the 4-hour time frame uptrend, or at least this is the first time that it's really being challenged, because technically we're still above the 50 EMA, so technically we are still in that uptrend. But I think there's a good chance, at least for this weekend, which obviously these videos are always relatively short term. I think for this weekend it's quite normal to at least see some stability. Although after that stability, my most likely direction and my bias is still bullish, right? As it has been basically since we hit this bottom right here at 108 and 109,000. Since then I've been bullish. At some point of time, I will switch my bias. I will turn around and I will say I'm bearish, but that hasn't been reached yet. I mean, there've been like yesterday we spoke about the fact that this was a bearish divergence, and that's true, right? But the bearish divergence doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to go into a downtrend. It just means that we're going to pull back, and that in combination with Friday normally being a de-risking day was the perfect time to be slightly bearish. But on the higher time frames, I think we are still bullish, right? And if you look at every uptrend that Bitcoin has had in the last 2 weeks, on the 4-hour time frame, you will find a bearish divergence, right? So every uptrend you have bearish divergences, and it's not strange. But we've pulled back. We've pulled back into the 4-hour uptrend. The 12-hour uptrend is still lower, to be fair. Daily uptrend as well. We still have a Coinbase Bitcoin premium that's rather large. We still have fundamentals that are quite positive. You can see the S&P 500 equities actually closed at all-time highs. So I don't see any reason why we would not get bullish continuation. Although I must say that there are some strange things going on the lower time frames. Like earlier today, about an hour ago, we had a high volume candle to the upside right here, which, you know, is good. But I think that there are some other things going on with the order flow. If you take a look at this, like basically since yesterday afternoon, quite a lot of leverage has gotten into the price, it seems like, at least for Bitcoin. And that leverage, it's very two-sided. But every time we have a bit of a surge in open interest, I would argue it's mostly longs getting into the price, right? And if that was the other way around, so if that was mostly short getting into the price, I would say that those are going to get squeezed, right? So short term, I think it's more likely, when we're looking at the 4-hour time frame here for Bitcoin, that we're going to remain relatively stable. And I think that there's a good chance that we're going to get some sort of a, you know, not a major one unless we get some bad news, but a minor flush to the downsides, potentially into 114,000, before bouncing back up and getting that bullish continuation, which is still my bias, like I said earlier, into 119 and 120,000. I'd say that's most likely. I'd say that's what I think you need to know for today. So hopefully that helps. I'll be back with a new video later today on something major that's happening tomorrow. So keep an eye on the channel for that. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.